G'day, Professor Joseph Drew. Yesterday I was asked a question about constitutional recognition for local government. The issue is actually far more complex than what you might imagine, so hang on and I'll give you everything you need to know. So like everything, before you embark on a process to get constitutional recognition, you need to think about what your goals are. And here are some of the main goals I hear all the time. That local government will get more respect because the words local government exist in the Constitution. I'm not sure that that'll be the case. The states are written in the Constitution, and sometimes the federal government doesn't show an awful lot of respect for the states, and certainly amongst the public, a lot of public don't show respect for the states, despite the fact that they're written into the Constitution. So I'm not quite sure where that thinking goes. That there would be less chance for amalgamation. I suspect that this is a big reason for the push. Local government don't enjoy being a creature of statute, being a creation of state governments that they can change anytime they want through legislation. However, just because you're mentioned in the Constitution doesn't mean that state governments won't be able to change your boundaries, change the number of local governments, and implement all sorts of other policies that make your life difficult, unless those specific things are mentioned in the Constitution. How many councils there are, what your specific boundaries are, what your specific responsibilities are, and the like. It's not going to make any difference to your current status as a creature of statute. And some people have it in their head that if you get mentioned in the Constitution, you're suddenly going to get more money from the federal government. Well, that's very unlikely. In fact, the most likely thing at the moment is you're going to get less money in the future because the federal government budget is under extreme stress at present. The federal government already provides money directly to local government. It's not going to change just because you're written into the Constitution. And more importantly, you've got next to no chance of succeeding. We've tried constitutional recognition for local government in 74, in 88. We had an attempt that was supposed to happen a few years ago, but it got pulled at the last minute because of the Rudd assassination of Gillard. And it was a good thing that it did get pulled because surveys suggested that we were going to fail yet again, and that might have been the final failure. So my point is, the constitutional recognition is not going to achieve what you want. You're probably not going to get it anyway, and I think there's much better, much more important things that we could be directing our efforts to. And Albert Hershman, the famous economist and Nobel laureate, tells you how to proceed. If you want more respect, if you want to be a partner with federal government and more money to deliver services, if you want to not be the victim of whims of state governments in terms of amalgamations and boundary changes and things like that. Well, the way to achieve those things is not actually through constitutional recognition. It's through the loyalty of your citizens. When local government's doing a great job, when local government's doing an essential job, which you usually are, but most importantly, when your citizens know that you are doing a great and essential job, then the higher tiers of government will have to respect you, will have to include you at the table for important decision making, will have to partner with you to deliver services, which you will be the most respected level of government. And they simply won't be able to amalgamate you and change your boundaries at whim because they won't be game to, because they'll get a citizen-led revolt that will cost them dearly at the electoral polls. We've known this for many years, that the best way to achieve the things that local government's trying to achieve through constitutional recognition is to actually do a great job and to make sure your citizens know that you do a great job, and thus to foster loyalty. Look, I hope this video has opened your eyes up to the real issues around constitutional recognition, the real chances of getting constitutional recognition, and maybe next time a motion's put up about it, which happens at every annual conference, every year, at every local government peak body, maybe you might say to others, look, guys, it's probably not ever going to happen. It probably wouldn't give us what we want anyway. Maybe there's some really more important things that we could be directing our efforts to, like reforms of the chaotic financial assistance grants, like reforms of rate capping, like community education. There's so many things we could be directing our efforts to that would probably be much more profitable for our communities and ourselves over the long run. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.